My Pandanomics session right now. You okay?
Been up since 4:30.
Yeah, I slept 3 hours.
Went to White Sands this morning.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, you want the air on?
Yeah, I would love to have the air on, dude. Thank you. Hello. Can't see anybody's faces, but hello, everybody. Hey, what's up, Justin? So I guess your name isn't Dot Milo. I got it.
No, there you go. Yeah, it's Justin. How are you doing?
Busy, man. Running around like a crazy person as usual. But blessed.
Well, better than me. I'm stuck in quarantine right now.
Yeah, but you're in college, man. Life is good in college.
Can't do anything, but I gotta make the most of it.
Exactly. Excuse me, I'm waiting for a couple more people, so just a couple seconds, guys. Mute myself. Hey guys, how's everyone doing this weekend? Good? I realized that I was talking to myself and I was like, why is nobody responding back to me? I looked down, I'm like, oh, it's because it's mute. That's why nobody's responding back to me. Pretty funny. So I had a couple guys here from my previous sessions that are just going to be here live and sitting at one of my offices, and then we have an event here. So we kind of mix it up a little bit today. I just want to talk about some pretty cool things. So give them about 4 or 5 minutes to show up, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, obviously, some of the newer people, we have those lists. How are the lists coming along? Are they working? Are they helping you guys out? Are they helping you with perspective and understanding? Big difference,
Definitely. I've been like they're talking about like the family friends and associates list. So yeah, I made that myself, and that's it's definitely so.
My mic was muted. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So I was doing pretty good with the power perspective list, and it's actually been helping me.
Good. If you read both books, there's a reason that we have both books. Again, I hate reading, but if you read those 2 books, has anybody honestly read those books yet?
I'm reading the 5 Love Languages with my girl right now, and it's pretty good.
Important.
Yeah. So I haven't got the Magic Kingdom. They haven't sent it to me, and they didn't do anything about it. They're just saying that they're gonna send it to me. They're gonna send me an email when they decide to send it to me, and it was supposed to be here on the 7th. So, yeah.
I would probably just download it and kind of go from there and make this work. And I think that's going to be a thing. That's probably the best thing you can do is download it and go from there. Hi. I don't have a mask, so at this rate, if I'm screwed, we're all screwed. You got 4 people in here. Oh, there's some water for you guys. We're still missing probably Rudy too. Yeah. Hey, do you mind just taking that to my office when you get that? Mike Cortez in Phoenix, Arizona. Nice seeing you. How's the new job?
It's good, man. Just at the office right now.
All right. Awesome. What's up, my man? How you been? Yeah, sure. I don't have a problem with that. So we have people sitting in front of me, for the people here online. This is almost bang for the buck. Just so for everyone here is clear, there's a session every Thursday at 5 o'clock, and there's a session every Thursday at 6 o'clock. It's the same literal dial in that you have to do. We're working on trying to bring, to put it more aligned, but at the bare minimum, at least, you know, every Thursday there's a session for each of you guys. The younger guys that are the newer ones are obviously at the 5 o'clock session, and the ones that have been with me for a while, obviously, we're at the 6 o'clock session. What's up, Rudy? How you doing, bud? Doing all right, man. Help us out with some water. So I'm gonna start. We're waiting for this one more guy.
Yeah, I think you want to get
No notebook right here. So yeah, if you read the 5 love languages and you're reading it with your significant other, CJ, that's probably the most beneficial thing, because growth can only be when everyone wants to do the growth as opposed to one person doing the growth. Then you just sound like you're cuckoo because you read a book. But I really like the fact that you're doing that. How you doing, man?
Good, and yourself?
Nice to meet you.
Aaron,
Nice to meet you. So the one thing I kind of want to talk about, and that's kind of appealing to everyone else and we're talking about, is I want to talk about specific strategies that we've done, that I do in business branding, that makes a significant difference, and what it's done to align yourself with bigger players, right? And how you can do that during COVID, because that's the major thing. So if you have a product, if you have a brand, if you have a podcast, if you're a caster, if you're a gamer, if you're a model, if you're doing a startup, this tip in particular is going to help you in business. And I'm going to show you how I kind of did a living proof of that right now. So the first thing I want everyone to do is I'm going to type in this link right here for you guys to take a look at. So you guys ever pull this up. For the team, for the people that are here, this is 3 commas. And this is a brand that we just I think we're good on water, brother. We're good, thank you. I'll use one more like this.
So is this a free? No,
that's $15. $15 free. I'm totally gas free. But so this is a brand that my partnership here, if you guys can see this, it's with 2 major universities, Arkansas State, ASU, a pro team, and Mark Cuban. So Mark Cuban is my partner when it comes to clothing. Okay. Now you're going to ask yourself, how I pulled this off. I'm about to tell you guys how I pulled off this procedure and how I align myself with other brands to grow my brand, right? The strategy is working with other people to grow your brand. So the first thing we talk about is reputation.
The decision to wait or what? Yeah.
Nope, not a wait. The first thing we talk about is reputation. If you have a good reputation, people are more willing to do business with you, right? When you talk about patience, that brand right now is the very first merchandise drop that Mark Cuban has done in the collegiate esports space in the history of the world. In fact, that merch drop deal I just put is probably one of the largest ones that has ever happened in collegiate esports. And we talk about the benefits and how we got there. And I'm going to break this down to you guys on how I did this. And you can use this very specifically for your brand and for your company and your personal brand and how this worked, right? So the proof is in the pudding. Mark Cuban's my business partner. And if you guys want to buy a jersey and rock it and support your boy here, I'd really appreciate it. It'd be great. But here's the idea. Mark's business partner, his name is Mike Chafin. I think I've brought this up. Mike Chafin owns 51% of the company. He is also a manager. He runs tons of companies, but he manages Nelly, and he's managed Nelly for 30 years, right? You have to think about who the players are, right? How do you think about who the players are? Obviously, Mark Cuban has a name, but why would Mark Cuban, who is a shark, give 51% of his clothing brand to Mike Chafin? What that indicates to you is if you understand the players that are involved and who makes the decision-making process, you will understand who to approach. Instead of me approaching Mark Cuban directly, I approached Mike Chafin directly, right? And what I did is I developed a very organic friendship and relationship the same way I'm dealing with everyone in my mentee sessions, right? Now think about what I said. I didn't go to Mark Cuban. Why? Mark Cuban probably gets 1,000. If I get 50 inquiries a day in business, he has 1,000 inquiries that Mark Cuban's getting a day. So he doesn't have time for me. He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know my credibility. In fact, the person that's in charge of it is the guy that he's going to listen to the most, his right-hand man, right? Where people screw up when they're trying to do brands, especially during COVID, is you hit up the main person and you don't realize that the main person isn't the decision maker towards the end. It's everyone leading up to the main person. So the number two plays the most significant role in business, right? That's what you do. When people hit me up directly, and some of you guys have, my answer is call Newt, right? I send you an email, I'm like, this is Newt, get hold of Newt. Because Newt's helping me filter through the people I want and don't want to talk to. I want to talk to everybody here, obviously. And then literally puts time for everyone that we can have. If Newt didn't tell me what it was, if Newt didn't like you, if Newt didn't want to be part of your network with you and basically thought you weren't a good person, Newt would block you from the deal. And where everyone screws up is they discount everybody on the team in the specific role they play, because you assume that if you know the CEO of the company, that they're going to do the deal with you. But what you don't assume is the CEO is relying on everyone else to do business. Is that clear for everybody? You guys have any questions so far? So, as we're trying to assume a merchant or brand deal, we have to identify the players, and I always talk about that. The second part of identifying the players isn't just identifying and knowing who they are. The next part of it is really understanding what you can offer, what your add value is to this person. I'm going to get very, very specific. Mark Cuban's whole brand, 3 commas, is because it's based on being a billionaire. 3 commas, right? Ingenious. We ran into 2 major problems with this. One, I am trying to give Mark something that he doesn't have, right? What can I give you, the sponsor, you, the photographer, you, the business person, you, the organization or the team? What can I offer you that no one else is offering and at a value? Right? That's the question. So I go back and I look at the things that I know what I do best. I have 2 main things I can give to Mark. One, I can get him into Asia. I know I can. I've proven it. I have the track record. I'm in enough news sources where I can prove it and go from there, right? Knowing your strength and what your add value is important. I'm not going to pitch Mark the Dallas Mavericks because he basketball team because he owns a basketball team. I'm not going to pitch him another esports team because he owns a team and I own a team and it's competitive. What I'm doing is I'm identifying the key players. I'm trying to do merch. And if I'm trying to do merch, I have to identify the spaces that he's in and the spaces he's not in. Now, let me give you some examples of what I mean by that. If you're in the podcast space and you're trying to do your podcast to get sponsors, the last thing you want to do is hit up someone who's already sponsoring a podcast that's similar to what you're doing. You want to know why? A, it shows you didn't give 2 F's about researching, and B, they already have a contractual commitment to that person. If you're a model and you're trying to model your brand and your product to somebody, or if you're a streamer or you're an influencer, where you fundamentally lack is you're not providing more than just physical substance. You have to have add value substance. Add value substance can be look. Add value substance could be access to cars that will help the shoot. Add value might be getting star photographers, or in your guys' case in the streaming world, star players to play with you. Add value that only you can bring when you're approaching these guys. So in my case, it was I can get them in TV and streaming in Asia, right? Because I have a show that has 4 million people that watch it. Step 2, when he is in the clothing side, am I going to pitch Mark how I can help him become a better entrepreneur in Asia? Hell no, I'm not, right? As great as a businessman I am still not Mark Cuban. I am not a billionaire. So out of respect, you have to know your role. You have to be very humble with your ego and very humbly sit there and say, I am not a better business person than Mark. I might be, says my mom, Big whoa. Love my mom. Don't talk like that. But my point is, I have to physically prove I'm a better business person, or I'm a good business person in a specific area. So if you're a model, a streamer, a gamer, an online publication, a new jerky company, a new company that you guys are working to do, what specifically in your brand is going to differentiate you from everything else? So in his world of being an entrepreneur and pushing the entrepreneurial playbook, what I'm pushing out most simply is esports. I understand it. He understands it to an extent. He owns a team. And I'm going to put the entrepreneurs together with esports. Now, your first question is going to be why? So here was my pitch. I said, Mark, there is no industry leader in clothing. It's a fact. 2, I have done merch deals already with FaZe Clan where we did $2 million in one day selling sweaters. Those are facts, right? 3, I was part of Justin Timberlake in the market in Asia, so I had his rights in China and Taiwan for William Ras. These are facts. They're facts that you can do. They're not bullshit facts. You're not overextending. It's things that you can actually do. So if they call you out on it, you actually have that relationship. Where people screw up is they know someone that they met one time and they have their number, and they assume that you can get that person on a call. And when you do it, and that was your sell point, and you don't get it done, it makes you look like a shyster, and nobody wants to work with you after that. It damages your reputation, right? So if you're gonna reach out and you say you have this contact, boy, you better be able to call them like the way you call your mama. That's how good that contact has to be, or else you'll embarrass yourself and the deal is dead. So I don't say more than I can say. I didn't promise Mark that I could get him all the FaZe guys or half my athletes to do his branding. I simply said that I can absolutely get him into esports and identify what area could help him grow, and then I pitched the sell. Here's the pitch. If you want to know what the pitch is, it's very simple. All you have to do is you go online, and every company has a mission statement, right? Every company. Mark's is 3 commas for the entrepreneur. So I said to Mark, Mark, our pitch is going to be simple. You're going to hit an 18 to 22-year-old audience, a $1 billion industry, 2 facts, 75% male dominated, but the highest rising growth of any industry for female athletes. And it's global. And the best part is I'm going to put the deal together with you and us into esports. And then I'm going to bring you universities to partner with you. Right? Do you see what I did? I gave him an add value of what he needed. I gave him the brand. I gave him the idea. I gave him the concept, right? And I incorporated his motto. What everyone has to understand, especially when talking to founders, content creators, photographers, whatever it is, most people have an ego. In fact, we all have egos. The good ones learn how to put it aside. The ones who haven't, bless you, who haven't gotten to the value that they need to get to, they haven't done that. So what happens? You do not change their motto and say, I can do it better, right? That's ridiculous. I can't tell Mark that, much less anyone else. So I used what he does as an entrepreneur, and I incorporated an industry that he's not in, which is the Gen Z industry of esports. And Gen Z does not include 18, 19, 20-year-olds. It includes 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds. And then what I did is I pitched them and I said, every college team has teams in between. So I can do limited merch with every team that's there. And on top of that, I'm going to push your brand into Arkansas State and ASU and other brands. So as I'm pushing their brand, I'm selling the colleges, Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban, I'm selling the colleges, right? That's what I'm doing. You see how I added value in both parts of the deal? I didn't BS and say that I could do one. I didn't tell the colleges that I can get to Mark Cuban directly and have a cell number. I don't have a cell number. I have his business partner's cell number. But what I did was I identified 2 key components that they needed to work together. Is everybody clear on what I'm saying so far? And if you're not, you should probably ask questions. Yes? Okay, cool. So when I did this and I put the deal together and I identified why. When you're talking to someone, a supplier, a photographer, a potential business partner, networking, why? What is your point? If you have 2 minutes, is the average time, especially when you're doing networking events, you got 2 minutes, tops. What is your why? What are you trying to sell? How do you sell without sounding like a salesman? How do you engage in an audience without actually engaging and saying, this is my sell? You have to sell yourself, right? Nobody wants to talk to someone who's standing in the corner all upset. They want to talk to the people that are happy, that are mingling, that are going from there. And when you're in an event like this, everyone wants to meet everybody, right? So what I do is I just walk up and I say hi to everyone. And I shake their hands and I talk to them and whatever else, right? For you guys, what is your why when you're approaching this person? For a sponsor is, here's what I have, but here's my why. For a magazine, here's what I have and here's my why. What's gonna separate you from everybody else? I talk about niche all the time. What is your company's niche? What is your streaming niche? What is your modeling niche? What is your food niche that is gonna make different from everybody else? If you can't answer that fundamental question, you have completely wasted your time. Go back to part 1 of go make a business plan. You have to have a why. When I reach out to celebrities on Instagram, I have a why, right? I don't sell, I don't push, I just have a why. So why are we doing this? Why are you listening to me? You're here to learn, to know how I made millions of dollars. That's why you're here, living out of El Paso, Texas. That's my why. That's your why, right? Maybe you like me, that's another why. But the point is, these whys are so significant for you to close the deals. And anytime you talk to anybody, if you don't approach them with the why, you get the big fat no, because you've wasted their time, right? The one thing that drives me nuts is someone sits there and says, hey, David, I want to talk to you, I want to work with you. And I'm like, well, what do you, I need some advice. I go, what's the question? I don't know, I just need some advice. If I was a mind reader, I would give you the lottery numbers and we would all be chilling in the Maldives, right? That's not a why, that's your one chance to talk to me, you blew it because you were so ill prepared to tell me the why. Now I'm different, I'll be nice and I'll ask them, well, what do you mean? Go from there. But 90% of business people don't give 2 poops about what there is. You just wasted the time and they want to move on. It's the why, it's the play. And like any play, you don't seal the deal the first time you talk to them. It's where everybody screws up. If I want you to sell in 2 minutes my product and get you to work with me, I've made a big mistake. What I want to do is I want to lead into a conversation organically so you get to know me, so I can identify the players and then have the why. So when I went back to Mark and the why was, well, you're gonna be in collegiate esports. Now the next question is the how. Great, you have this. Do you already have everything that's ready and done with Arkansas State and ASU? And I took it a step further. If you're an expert in the field, boy, you better think of every single worst potential opportunity that's gonna happen. Before you can make your product, you need to destroy your product. You need to poke holes in your product. This is the most biggest ego check in the world. I don't care if it's your podcast or me or anything else. Constantly, I poke holes through myself and trying to figure out what the why is and where we're at with everything I try to do, right? This is pivotal reflection. But are you checking to see where the mistakes are and poking the holes through? And if you can answer the questions, you're going to close that deal, right? So then the next question is, how are people going to know that? And when I talk about it specifically, the deal's getting done, the deal's signed, we're about to launch. And at the 11th hour, after I planned a whole media and marketing campaign that's coming out, on the 11th hour, I get how are we going to do this? Do we have the rights for the licensing for the trademark? Yeah, I do. And then I told him how. I broke it down for him. I said, my trademark attorneys already looked here and here. You see what I did? I answered the question before he could. I already had the answer. I didn't present the answer. I just knew the answer. And if you know the answer to when you're pitching and selling, whatever product, even yourself, that's what's going to make you different. When I cast and I commentate, you know, for example, I'll be doing something for ESPN soon. It's my voice, but I look different from everybody else. I am Asian. That's why I look different. I'm aware of this. That is my why, right? Your how is, how are you going to push the product through? So then with Mark, I said, it's real simple. I'm going to grab your brand. I'm going to put it in my collegiate esports network with 220 universities in 20 countries. And I'm going to air this in 7 countries in Asia. And I'm also going to air this in the only streaming platform in China, right? And we're the only North American Collegiate League that can stream this platform. I took the concept, the inception, and I did the deliverables, the distribution. Where people screw up is, I make the best hamburgers, I'm the best model, I'm the best this, but you're not scaling your business. You don't understand how to take it from inception to conception to distribution to completion. Inception, conception, distribution, and completion. Those are the 4 steps of anything you have to do. If your concept is, I'm gonna be a streamer, I'm gonna be a model, and then my concept is, I'm gonna sit here and hit this much stuff, and I'm gonna do this much material, and then I'm gonna end it with trying to actually let people know who I am. I'm gonna get on this platform and this platform, I'm gonna cross-collaborate and go from there. That's great, but what is your end goal? What are you trying to do? And if you don't have the answer to your end goal and whatever every single one of you guys are doing, when you're talking to the specific person, you have failed yourself as a business person, because you have failed to understand your market, your people, and your research, and the why they would want you there. Does that make sense? So I already had my how. I already did the add value. I did more than this. Now here's my favorite part. When shit hits the fan, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you to sell and how great things are. I'm gonna tell you that things are gonna happen that you're not gonna anticipate are going to happen. For you, if you're a big streamer or a big model, right? You know, if the internet's off, the internet's off. You gotta do what you gotta do. If you're a model and clothes aren't there, the lighting's off, you gotta do what you gotta do. If you're a brand and you have to bring 5 SKUs and you only have 3 brands that you can bring, you're not gonna sit there and tell them, hey, my bad, let me bring the 2 other brands down the road, right? You're gonna work with them, right? You have to always pivot. The people that screw up are the ones that do this. Life is over. Every single time this happens to me in my brain, I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. Cool, calm, and collective. Cool, calm, and collective. Cool, calm, and collective. You have to be able to be so in tune with your emotions, which is why the 5 Love Languages is such an important book for everyone to read. And I keep saying this over and over again, because if you're in tune with understanding what you're trying to do, then you can understand your facial features, and then therefore you don't lose the sell, right? You have to understand this part of it. And when stuff happens, I'll tell you what happens. We're making this big marketing campaign. We're writing down who we're gonna do. We're gonna get Rick Barry to post here. We're gonna get Jeremy Roenick to post here. We're gonna get Overflow to put here. We're gonna get, I don't know, who else? Aaron Jones to put here. And we have this whole thing written out. And we have Forbes India waiting for us. And we have Yahoo Finance waiting for us. And they're all waiting for us to make this thing right. I have the whole distribution side on how I'm gonna push this product out. Traditional media, social media, cross-branding, right? Within the university, and I get a call. And the call goes like this. Hey Dave, we really like the product. We're really grateful for what you're doing. But if you want us to put this on your website, we need to get you a license through a different company. The product's already up online. Now, as everyone's giving me the same look that I probably had in my face, I can't yell at the client, right? Because I need something from them, right? Think about the humility at that very moment where you're doing business. How humble you have to be. How in control you have to be of your emotions. Now ask yourself why you can't do that with the people you love. That's the point. Ego. I always say this to you guys. We're more mean to the people we love. There's a study that literally says, and I've said this to you guys multiple times, 80% of people are more likely to get mad at someone that they love and a total stranger. It's not an inability to control emotions. It's the inability to give two shits about the people you're talking to. That's a hard check. That's a fact. So when I get back to the business side of it, and I'm sitting there and I'm swallowing my pride and I'm trying to figure this out, in my mind, it's literally a ticking time bomb. I'm like, I can't get this out in Forbes India. I can't get this out in Yahoo Finance. I have 2 other universities waiting for me to launch at the same time. I told all the celebrities that we're gonna launch here. We've been on the website. At this point, before we make it an official launch, and that's why it's not even on my social media, 4 weeks going into it. Now, typical person might say, I'm going to ask and I'm going to tell Mike what happened. Does anyone understand why I wouldn't do that? Because I can lose face. I pushed myself and thought everything was done. I had to run the cost benefit ratio and say, well, if this is an Arkansas State's website and it's in their bookstore and it's not online, it can only increase value, right? So what I do is I slowly push the other 2 brands, because there's 3 brands there, and start making the sales there where there's a mistake here. Most people get caught up because if not all 3 products are there perfect, they don't even start. That's as silly as saying, I am a model and I only have 2 of my 3 outfits are here, so therefore I'm not going to shoot. Or I'm selling a product and out of my products, I had 5 ready to go, but I only brought 3 because the other 2 I forgot at home. You wouldn't stop, right? You'd work with it. So because you would work with it, and because I had to work with it, I had to push out the other brands very slowly to get some sort of traction. And then I had to start doing the documentation where people screw up. I have never applied for a license online. Right? I've been partners with people, they give me the license, I paid for the license, I've never applied for one. What I did was I immediately jumped on it. As soon as this happened, you have no time on your side. Every single day you wait when you're trying to tell a customer something, or someone that's trying to cross brand with you or anyone else, is 1 day less credibility you're gonna have. So at that point in time, nothing else matters, everything's pushed aside. I'm going balls to the wall and I'm writing out what I can do and I'm filling out all the paperwork. And guess what I'm doing? I'm calling the person who set me up and say, hey, has it been ready? Hey, what's going on? But instead of being annoying, there's an art to being with people. And here's the art. The first thing you write is out of sight, out of mind, right? If I'm not thinking about you consistently, you're out of my mind and therefore I'll eventually let you go. In the human system, we can only keep track of 100 people in our brains on a consistent basis. So as a new person comes in, they become part of your life. Someone who was part of your life is pushed out. That's the same thing with brands and businesses. Out of sight, out of mind. And with Mark and his company, as we're pushing it through, we're trying to go from there. We have everyone try to like kind of make it and put it together. I very delicately say, hey, here's where we're at. This has happened. Do you know when we're going to get an answer? Of course, the answer is, well, I don't know yet. So I send a second email. Here's what I say. I say, hey, I have an article coming out in Forbes India and Yahoo Finance that I want to feature you. What did I just do? I added additional value, and I very kindly told you to hurry the F up because I need to get you on Yahoo and Forbes India, and we're waiting for this. But I said it in a very polite, charismatic manner. Nothing bad. Third, I said, hey, I really need to know because we're doing this big shoot and here are our brand ambassadors who are all willing to push this out. And I need to know so I can coordinate with their schedules, right? All 3 things said the same thing, which was, am I gonna get this, right? That's what I said. But my message is completely different, professional, and polite. What happens when someone keeps hitting you over and over and over for the same thing? Whether you're right or wrong, what happens? You ignore them. Somewhere deep down inside, you get this big ego play, and the big ego play is, I'm going to blow you off, or you're not ready. So then there's a sense of guilt on that person's end, and they blow you off, and eventually you become annoying and they let you go. I will tell you, I have done more business with people that I've said no to, and that came back to me with a thank you for your time. How can we work together and keep adding value to the point where I'll start doing business with them, because now I know they have character. That's the difference. I know they have character. I know they want to do this. I know that they're not going to give up. I know they're going to find different angles, go from there. Out of sight, out of mind. But if you do it in my methodology, by the 4th email, I sat there and I started saying other things. I went online. And without sitting there and being a stalker, if I saw something like A-State University is looking for sponsors to give out a headset for our university, message them back and say, hey, I'm going to donate a $200 headset for your university. Does the $200 matter to me at the end of the day? I'm trying to do a big collegiate deal. It's worth probably millions of dollars. Not at all. But you see what I did? I looked at what they wanted and I added value to what they needed. I was very personalized with that value. Where people screw up, and if you're on LinkedIn, you're gonna know this. They copy and paste the same sales pitch to every single person. And then when I respond back every once in a while, so I'm trying to be a jerk, and I'll be like, you realize that you're sales pitching me and I do this and this for a living. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. And then they go from there. That's terrible sales tactics. That's the worst sales tactics. I've closed $1 billion transactions. This means nothing, right? The way that you do it is you slowly go from there. You have to add value. What do they want? Hey, can I borrow a lens? I have a lens. Hey, I'm doing this shoot. We're gonna donate for food. Bring on your product. Hey, we're gonna do this. Push their product online. Act with good intentions and you will receive good intentions. As I keep preaching to everyone in my mentor sessions. Not bad intentions, not the me stuff, because I will tell you what, anyone that knows any business will see through your bullshit so quickly that they won't do business with you. Every single person that I've invited to the session to go from there, or I've met online by playing games, has hit a chord with me on a very personal level, whether you know it or not. That's made me want to sit there and follow up with you guys. I don't have time to follow up. I just don't. But if I send you a personalized message, it's probably out of the 100 people that are there, you guys are the ones that I actually remember off the top of my head, and I'm going from there, right? That's how you keep not being out of sight, out of mind. If I stop tagging you slowly but surely, there's an issue because I'm starting to forget about you because I haven't seen you in that long. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Those are really, really important factors that you have to do. When it's all said and done, you saw the product, it's coming out. We're doing a major push this week. All the celebrities will start wearing it. We're going to start wearing it in our tournaments. We'll have different celebrities push it out. It'll be all over the place. But that was the value that I brought in, right? Everyone's going to have that oh shit moment of how I'm going to fix this issue. The thing is not panicking and just working through the best that you can. Are there any questions about what I said? There's 20 people here. There's got to be someone that has a question.
Yeah, I got a question.
I got a fan
If you can hear me.
And I was just gonna try putting them in there, and I did.
So what do you say to the young entrepreneur that doesn't think that they maybe have the connections or to approach these type of people that you end up working with? I mean, how do you overcome that barrier there specifically?
Well, you got to start somewhere, right? So it might not be Mark Cuban directly or Mike Shaven CEO. You might have to start with a person that you know that's on a different level and work your way up to the company. Anytime I'm introducing you, if I introduce you to Mark Cuban, boy, you better know what you're doing, because if you represent me bad, Cuban's going to tell me to F off. So you have to start with someone else. Everyone that's on the mentor session has reached out to me in one way, shape, or form, and they've proven that it works. That's why I'm giving out free sessions as opposed to charging, like on my SMU class, $5,000 for 5 weeks. Think about what I just said. I'm charging $5,000 for 5 weeks. I'm going to have to you guys for 15 weeks, right? That's the value. You have to reach out, but you have to know the player. And like I said, you have to know the why. What is the purpose of doing this and going from there, right? I'll give you another example. Watch this. So everyone knows I'm engaged, obviously, and everyone knows they're there. The number one thing that drives me absolutely bonkers is people don't say hi to her. The basic, let me say hi to the people you're around. The basic knowledge of saying hi to people. If you don't even say it to the people you know, You're definitely not going to be saying to people you don't know. And you don't know if that person next to me is the CEO, the CFO, the president of Wells Fargo. You don't know who this person is. And just because they're dressed a certain way, you have absolutely no idea to assume. You don't know, right? How many times in your life have you sat there and you did something and out of nowhere, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that was so-and-so. That's your fault as a human being, right? When we come back, and we start talking about, oh, this is what we did today, and we're talking to our significant others, we're going from there, we're trying to do things. What ends up happening is they start realizing the people who have just that basic respect and understanding of people who don't, right? So if you ever see me with like, when I met your husband, for example, right? I was like, hey, what's up, man? I'm the freaking guest speaker and I'm doing that. It's not beneath anybody. It's a basic form of respect for every human being that deserves it, whoever it is. And that in itself is a character issue and a massive character flaw. I will tell you that 80% of the time, I will not do a deal if they don't know how to say hi to her, my parents, my friends around me. Because I'm like, clearly they're important enough for me to bring them around. Obviously, you don't care enough to give me that respect. So therefore, I have no care to give you that respect and do business with you. That's a character flaw issue that people have to deal with. You have to understand that. It's like when you're going on a date, you have mom, when the parents are there, you're like, you know, for the traditional people, and for you young kids, you probably should do this, which is walking up to them and saying, hey, I'm so-and-so, so-and-so, Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 I'm gonna take your daughter out to dinner. Y'all didn't have that problem now, but back in the day, you had to call the house and the parents had to pick up the phone. And boy, that wasn't fun. But you have to get that basic amount of respect, right? So that's another character, a constant flaw that I see in business. Some of my mentees have made this mistake already. I'm gonna tell you guys straight up. Maybe you're not aware of it, but I'm gonna be very straightforward and tell you guys, that's what destroys businesses. D-Rock, Gary's guy, you know what I mean? D-Rock are so tight because I was the only one that turned and started talking to D-Rock. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I didn't know who D-Rock was. In fact, I already met D-Rock 5 times until I realized it was D-Rock. You don't know. And D-Rock has the most access to Gary because with Gary every single day and every single meeting. And that's why you do that. 5:45, guys. I got 10 more minutes for questions. Any questions, feel free to ask.
Can you repeat those steps? You said inception.
Conception, distribution. Conception, distribution. I forgot what the last terminology I used. Huh?
Completion.
Completion, and then exit strategy. It's 5 steps.
Nice.
And that's everything I do in business.
Amazing session.
Thank you, I appreciate you.
Really quick, I just wanted to say there's an event going on next door, actually, networking event, local business owners, everybody. So feel free to come swing by once you're done here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check it out. Everybody
All right, cool.
is invited. I believe they're giving away.
Yeah, they're starting at 5:30, yeah.
Yeah, 5:30, yeah. So it should be on. I came over here because they were live. So
Okay. No, head over there, man. You can go downstairs to there.
through here?
Yeah, or you can go out through there too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's open, man.
It's open.
What
You
was
go
your name
through.
again?
I'm David.
David.
Nice to meet
Aaron,
you.
man. Nice
You
to
too.
meet you. And you are Lily?
Rudy.
Rudy?
Nice to meet you.
Vivian? And Austin. I saw you outside. Hey, man. Thank you so much for the value.
No
I
problem,
appreciate
man.
your
I'll see you
time,
over there,
man.
dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you shortly. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you guys.
Are there, you guys have 20 people? No questions? Nobody? Not one?
Actually, yeah, can I ask a real quick question? So, as you know, I work a lot with Matt Mangle and, you know, his operation that he has going on, nuclear and all that. You know, when it comes to dealing with people and somebody who allows their ego to consistently get in the way, how do you, what's your strategy for approaching something like that?
I call them out on it, dude. In a very nice way. A lot of times, dude, ego 100% comes from insecurity.
Mhm.
Right? Why are you feeling insecure? That's a major question. Why is this person feeling insecure? Why are they lashing out? Why are they angry? Why are they acting a certain way? Before you sit there and write them off as a jerk, the real win is understanding them and flipping them to like you. That's the win. Anybody can brush anybody off. You want to really test your character as a human being or ego, flip it to make them like you, and that becomes this. I got a story about a guy that I used to do concerts with. When I would walk into a room and we would do concerts together, this is like when I was a promoter, he wouldn't even stand up. He'd be like, I'd walk in, what's up? And he'd be like, and every single week I saw him, and every single week was the same shitty face. And every single week I dealt with it because my why was I needed him to do promotions, help me push and go through and make money. That's my why. This happened for 2.5 years. One day, we're putting a concert together with a group, and the group decides to flake out last minute. And when we're trying to figure out the money and split the money back to our deposits, I was very worried I wasn't going to get my money back. I got my money back. Eventually, when that club was done, this person moved on, I moved on. But what I did was every time this person would hit me up, I'd start talking to him. 3 days ago, this person told his business partner, a very well-known business partner, that I am one of his mentors, one of the people he looks up to in business. That's a win. It's a win in 2 senses. One, I flipped my character around and my ego and didn't have an issue with it. And 2, I won this person and I've earned that much more respect. And because I won this person over, this person will never not say anything bad about me ever again. Are you able to do that? Are you able to check your ego? Give you another example. The gentleman that was here right now was telling about the event next door at my own building, at my own event. Like, think about this. The 4 of them wanted to laugh, and you all saw my face, but how did I handle it? I didn't embarrass him. I didn't sit there and say, yeah, it's my event. I very politely said that. Most people have a fucking ego. This is my event in my building that I'm throwing. I don't do that. When I was at my ESPYs party and I'm hosting my party, people are like, one of my old attorneys showed up, said, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, I'm hosting the event. Or someone will very politely show me where the refreshments are and what the event is. And I'm thinking my whole entire time, dude, it's my fucking event. But I don't even call them out on it because when they find out, they're gonna be embarrassed. But the thing you can do as a human being is not embarrass them. They didn't do it to embarrass you. Their intentions were good. He was trying to tell me there's another networking event next door. Thanks for pushing my own event. I really appreciate it. That is a real life example of how I handle things. Doesn't mean it's easy and it doesn't mean it's fun, but thank God right now you saw that. And look, the 4 people's here faces were all like, they didn't know how to react. The 4 of you didn't know how to react. And I didn't, and I sat there and I was very polite. That's the oh shit moment that happens afterwards. It goes from there. I got 3 more questions I can answer.
How do you stay so humble?
Thank you.
No problem. How do I stay so humble?
Yeah, like with the situation, everything that you're saying, like, everything that goes wrong, you're like very cool, calm, composed.
I'm cool, calm, and composed 26 days out of 30. That's the truth, because I'm a human being. I have that one day where shit hits the fan and I hate everybody and everything and my phone's off. And you can tell what day that is because I don't post that day on social media. Or I'm really that busy, I don't do it. How I learned it is people tend to respect you more when they know you're humble and they find out what you do and who you are, and you don't make fun of them or bash them, because all of us, whether you're 18 or 70, we're trying to make it in this world of business, right? When I'm with streamers and gamers, I throw all these tournaments and most people don't know I'm on the shoulder of the face line. They don't know I put these guys in a Super Bowl commercial. And it's on my bio on Instagram, right? But if I take it in a sense where I embarrass them or like that gentleman right there, I'm doing myself a disservice, right? I'm hurting my own character. I'm thinking that I'm better, right? And I'm not. And when I act this way in front of you guys, there's gonna be a moment where in your head, you're gonna be like, blah, 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 and then you're gonna go back to this very second when I said this, just like, man, David was humble, why can't I be humble? Like I told you, nobody wants to work with an asshole. Everyone wants to work with someone nice. In my life, you want to know the number one thing I don't want to do? I don't work if you're a jerk. I just want to deal with you. You're nice, I'll help you out. You're not nice, I'll tell you to F off. I don't have time for it. But that's honestly how. And it's good because it's a constant reminder of where I came from. And that's really the main core. If you stay humble, you will always remember who you are. You will not lose who you are as a character and human being, no matter how big you make it. And if you test yourself every single day to maintain humble, that's when you're allowed to then perpetuate and explode and go from there. So that's really how. You had a question, right, Rudy?
No,
Austin did.
yeah. So with the deal with Mark Cuban, I know partnerships can be sticky and all that, just depending on how you approach it. But I was curious, in this situation, you know, with Mark Cuban and his partner, obviously a big name, right? That gets you access, you give them access. Does money ever, like, is it ever brought up, or is it in your head is, look, all I have to do is front everything and then we'll get it back and then split afterwards? Or do you have that sticky conversation up front? Hey, this is what I'm gonna ask, this is what you expect me to ask.
Did you guys hear the question? No? The question was with Mark Cuban, when I was doing the deal, is the issue that I front the money first, right? That was your first question. Or how do I ask? And is that part of my discussions when I'm doing business with him? Is that correct?
Yeah.
A real business person doesn't have to put money in anything. Not this OPM shit that you guys hear on the radio and invest now and use other people's money to invest in properties. That's a crock of shit. I'll tell you that's what it is. It's really your connections and your network is literally your net worth. And that's why this is significant. So with Mark, my specific deal was simple. Since I can't guarantee you how many products I can make, I will take less money, but we will make these to order on the back end. Everyone's caught up in the front end. Everyone's caught up on what do I get paid now? And that's why most people don't make it. By the way, this still took me 10 months to do. When I was told yes 6 times. The end result is the end result. And when you talk about losing face, and I've talked to my partners about what's going on, where was that? I lose face every single day in everything that I do. But what I try to make them understand, and anyone understand, is this is not based on my inability, this is circumstantial. But I don't bullshit. I literally tell, if I know this guy, I know this guy, and that's it. And so when I tell you I'm doing a deal with Mark Cuban, it's online, knock yourselves out and you can see it. It's a clothing company, it's there. Look who did it. That's a win. You have to learn how to position yourself and leverage. And sometimes you gotta pay. Let me give you another example. Arkansas State happened because I had to pay them because they won a tournament. But what David does differently than everyone else, like I reach out to all you guys on my own social media, and I was the one who sent it, not my assistant, I sent it. What I then did is I reach out to the winners. That's just me being a good person. Thank you. And I say, thank you for playing our tournament, la, la, la. And then I tell them what I do. This is my sales. You know, check me out. Then the payback reward was they invited me to go speak at their university, where I got paid pretty handsome to speak for an hour. Then I got a raving review from the chancellor, right? But I stay in touch with these people. I always want to add value, right? So my add value isn't I'm just going to get you a merch deal with Mark Cuban. My add value is I'm going to get you on Forbes, India, and Yahoo Finance. My add value is I'm going to get a superstar and celebrity to wear your jersey. My add value is I'm going to put your team in a very, very specific tournament and air you guys. I constantly add value. And what she did in return was, hey, we're going to introduce you to Adidas. Add value. Look where I came from. They won a tournament. I just had to say thank you. They continue to grow where I'm at. I'm going to introduce you to Adidas. Well, great, because Aaron Jones has just signed with Adidas and Rick Barry is part of Adidas. So between you, the university, and the athletic director pushing me up and what I'm doing, go from there. I don't ask for the money. I equally split it a third apiece. I could have, the market is I only give them 10%. But because I am who I am and my character, I gave them a deal that no one else will do because I actually care. And what happens? They get a third of the product. When they found out they got a third, they literally almost fell out of their chairs because they never got that. Now, if I made the extra 20%, sure, I would make 20% of the shorthand, but I might have never made Adidas. I didn't have any bad intentions. My intentions were good. You see how I just very organically did that. That's how I do business with everybody. You want to show up to my sessions? Great. You don't want to show up to my sessions? whatever. Doesn't hurt my feelings. I get paid to do this. Like I said, teaching 5 weeks at SMU is $5,000. So I put up yesterday on my Instagram. How many weeks have I spent with you guys? And a university's paying me to speak, right, to teach. That's the point of the story. It has to be very organic, and my intentions are good. That's it. That's all I can sit there and say. But to your point, you never look and you play fair. That's the most important. Play fair. Win fair. Don't win as a shyster. Don't win so you can get more money. Don't win because you're going to get the deal. Play fair. People will appreciate you, love you, and respect you if you play fair. If they don't play fair, that's on them. You play fair. You don't need to get down to that level and play not fair. That's how you have a better reputation with people, by playing fair. Add value. I'll give you a little bit more, sure. It's not beneath me to give you more. That's my service. Today, the service is for the people that are here, get to meet 40, 50 entrepreneurs downstairs. That's my add value, right? Last week, you got to listen to, if you were in my sessions, I was speaking at Microsoft on a paid event on our Thursdays, and I invited you there, and it was free for you. That's adding value, right? I'm giving. I've not asked for 1 cent from anybody. Only thing I've asked you guys to do is take photos, which please take a photo and share this online and help me push this through on your Twitter and social media. That's how you can add value to me, is by helping me out with that. But that's it. My intention is just to help you guys out and bring in more people and talk to them, and that's it, shape lives. That's how you add the value. All right, one last question. Anybody else? Mike, I wish you were sitting right here, buddy, but I'm very proud of you. Either which way. Nobody else? Not even Mike? No questions? Nobody else? Not even Mike? No questions?
Oh, well, I guess.
I might have a quick one.
Okay. Okay.
You can let Jordan go. I'll wait.
Well, mine was just, I started, like reading the Disney book that you recommended, and and I was just, curious, why it means so much to you, and what's, your kind of biggest takeaway from it.
Have you read it yet?
I'm like 3 chapters in, and so I mean it's a pretty easy read. I was just balance.
Finish it and ask me the same question next week.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Cool. Mike, what about you? Cortez.
So, I mean, everyone asked really good questions. I kind of wanted to wait today because I saw a lot of unfamiliar faces from the last 2 weeks that haven't been there. But really quick, I like the topic that you were going over, and I'm a little bit curious about how you see individuals, like let's say us El Pasoans that are working our way up those chains. How have you seen others in the same position that are hungry and trying to push forward? How have you seen those people kind of work their way up using what they have?
Let's put it this way. If there's any living proof of why I still live in El Paso and why I'm still in El Paso, is to prove that from a small hometown here, as a minority that's here, you can be partners with Mark Cuban and still live here, right? The ability is, it's not I have more connections or I'm more educated. I'm a college dropout. Don't forget that. I dropped out of college, but I'll be a professor at a university teaching. I didn't pass Accounting 200, and I was a managing partner at the world's largest accounting and finance firm. The restriction is not yours in particular, no one else's, but the bullshit excuses you feed yourself on why you can't do this, and the bullshit excuses everyone tells you that your insecurities agree on why you can't do this. That's the point. I'm literally proving to you guys single-handedly, I am doing impossible things. I live in El Paso, Texas as a college dropout. People are having me speak and teach at universities. Guys, there's nothing different than me and you. The only difference is I committed to something. I committed to my mentor who helped me grow, and literally did it every single week as if this was a ritual, and literally grew what I had to grow and maintained a relationship with this human being for the rest of my life. There are no restrictions, especially nowadays. It's the restrictions you give yourself. That's it. You know, I'll talk about my fiance in the modeling world. Let's do this. She's on the board of tourism in El Paso. Everything I do, marketing and branding, she does it. She makes all the logos for King Crab, makes all my websites, that's her. And what people really don't know is she was the only girl who was top 5, 3 years in a row, 2 times in Texas, 1 time in Nevada, and should have won 2 out of 3 years. She doesn't walk around with her head bounced around like she's all that. She's from El Paso. When she went to compete, El Paso's written off in Texas. Well, the nobodies here. You gotta stop using excuses and start utilizing what you can do to succeed, because everybody has a reason to fail, but not everyone's using the same reason you're using to fail. And that's the truth. I don't share my stories with you to show you how great I am. I am sharing my stories to tell you that an immigrant from another country who English was his 4th freaking language, who dropped out of college, is still pulling this. And I have struggles every single day, like every single one of you. I worry about my bills. I worry about my parents. I worry about my life. I worry about their life. I worry about everything that's going to happen. I worry about what's going to happen and go from there. What I realize, if I spend all the time worrying into producing, I'd win. And that's why I beat people out. It's truth. You can do anything, anywhere, anytime, if you can let go of your ego. And the reason you can't continue to move forward is because your ego is making excuses on why you should fail. Which is why the book is important. Which is why all 3 books are important. That's my answer, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, David.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. Remember, every Thursday, same time, if you don't get a message, jump on the Facebook thing. I can't keep messaging everyone every week. I am going to start cutting people out. I'm telling you straight up. I just don't have the time to try to maintain this stuff with people, and I have a ton of people that want to join. So, you know, just keep that in mind as you're moving forward and going from there. You know, give me that same amount of respect that I'm giving you guys. You know, help me push this out. Please, Twitter, Instagram, tag me, use a quote, whatever you can do. Let's help other people grow and be better. That's all we got to do.
I had a quick question about the link. I couldn't find the link on the Facebook one. I didn't get it until you sent it out through me personally.
Well, I apologize on that. If that's the case, just go ahead and message next time directly with Pandanomics Instagram or Anna, and she'll be able to help you with that. Okay. Also, sorry, I did. I got out for like a good 10 minutes and then I hopped back in. So. That's awesome, Daisy. You're the one person I mean, if you're not running on treadmills, you're shopping or you're at work, but you're always listening in. So I really appreciate that. That's commitment. Thank you. All right, guys. You guys have a great week. Don't make excuses to fail. If you don't think you can do it, go look at my uneducated ass that's going to be teaching at a university. My uneducated ass that is a ex-Deloitte managing partner. And my uneducated ass that is with Mark Cuban. And go from there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Talk to you guys soon. Have a great week. Stay blessed. Bye.
Thank you.